Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. For you, it's been 24 hours since the last round. For me, it's been like 5 hours. G2, T2, TQ, BF. Stats are truly terrible on this one. Really, really bad. Mostly, it comes down to HP. As I'm sure you don't need me to make aware. 1 HP equals a lot of enemies. I don't know if the seller has more champions or like 1 HP dealing enemies than other versions of the base, but it's scary. You get the general idea. It's a scary-ish situation. Our rate of fire and speed are actually very, very good, but obviously we need just a little bit more of a guarantee of our own personal safety. 1 bomb. Oh, I don't know about this one, dude. I didn't like it when there were 2 of these guys. Now there's 4 of these guys. I mean, what do they do? Walking towards me slowly with a menacing demeanor. Bags under their eyes. These guys, they need some sleep. Just go take a nap. Your cortisol levels are all out of whack. I don't know what that bit is. Yo, it's a great item. Not necessarily, like, immediately gonna save us. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, next shot, or one of the next 2 shots should be a pencil. One of the next 8 or 9 shots. Okay, thank you. It's gonna be an off-the-rails day for commentary, because I'm dealing with that relative lack of sleep going on. I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys get the same sort of... I know exactly why I get bad sleep, maybe like once a month. It's because when I don't fall asleep within like, you know, maybe like, let's say 90 minutes. It's a relatively broad time scale, obviously. But if I don't fall asleep within like 90 minutes of going to bed, I just start to get mad. I start to get, like, frustrated. I'm like, why am I not tired? And there is no emotion that stops you from falling asleep or inhibits you from falling asleep, like frustration. You know, you got it's a palpable emotion. It feels like your head's being squeezed or something like that. Or like you got a piece of gum stuck to your teeth and you just can't get it off no matter what you're trying to do, you know? Really feel like if I could live by a more meditative creed. I'm not asleep, but I forgive myself. I'd probably fall asleep an hour faster on those, rare nights where things are, taking a while to come together. But instead, I'm just like, and then you get mad that you're mad. You're like, I can't be frustrated right now, because if I'm frustrated, I'm not gonna fall asleep, so I gotta calm down. But even, it's one of the universal truths of being a dude. Somebody tells you to calm down, makes you 10 times less calm. Because I was calm, but now I'm mad. And even it holds true even if you're telling yourself to calm down. Yo, calm down. I am calm. Keep it down. Anyway. I'm just saying, the thing is, like... Just take me down to the next floor. I always, I assume... Let me hydrate here real quick. I always assume, like, when I lie to myself as I'm falling asleep. And it's good. I think this is what actually allows me to maintain a good sleep schedule relative to the average Twitch streamer or YouTuber. As I'm falling asleep, if it's, maybe it's 2 or 3 hours, we might not get a deal with the devil here. After I'm supposed to normally be asleep, and I say to myself, well, you could delay the stream by a couple hours, people would understand. You could, move Sunday's stream to Tuesday and just be like, I'm not feeling that well. And that's all true and, to some extent, a little valid. Although I don't necessarily know if I want to start pushing the idea that it's okay to skip work because you slept badly. It depends on the, look, I don't own a coal mine. I'm not trying to do, well, you might have cholera, but we could really use you down there. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I would feel a little bit weird. Like, I didn't sleep well, I'm not going to stream. Because I always find, like, if I don't sleep well, streaming, recording, etc., actually just helps me, like, because I enter a fugue state when I'm, like, recording the videos. So it's almost like the best way to pass time is productive. But on top of that, you know, I mean, what else do you do when you're, you know, a little bit sleep deprived? You had one night of bad sleep. You know, if you're not going to go to work, you're just going to lay on the couch and watch, you know, Phil Donahue. It's a little bit of a dated reference. You going to lay on the couch and watch the Ellen Show? Nothing wrong with that, but hey, save some of the discography for retirement. There's just a couple of items in this game I will never deem appropriate for use, and one of them is the clicker. Anyway, the other thing, so then I wake up at the normal time. Sometimes I do the, and again, this is how I know it's all mental. And I get, why I get hit twice there. I get better at dealing with it year over year. I used to have like serious sleep problems. I've talked about it ad nauseum before. Maybe not serious, but like, you know, much more moderate problems than the very mild, you know, very occasional sleeplessness I get now. But I do this thing where I like, you know, oh, I haven't fallen asleep, it's been 2 hours. You know what I do? I push the alarm clock ahead an hour. I say, okay, I don't need to wake up at, you know, 9. It's a Sunday. I could wake up at, I could wake up at 10 tomorrow and then, you know, get my sleep schedule on back the next day. And then what happens? 8:58 rolls around and I go, you know what? The time has come. Get up. Because I'd rather have one sleepless-ish or one little bit less good sleep night, which is not really an expression that makes any sense, than throw my sleep schedule out of whack long term. My opinion. Sorry, hydration. Very important. Let's do it. We got one guppy item. We got two guppy items. We got two guppy items. Not bad. We got them for free, too. Because what used to happen is there's like a, I don't know, maybe there's actually like a technique to deal with this better. I wouldn't know about it, but you get caught in the sleep spiral. You know, you get up at 6 a.m., you go to bed at 10. You got like a TV show on or a podcast or a Northernlion video. It ends, you look at the clock, you're like, oh, it's 10:45 or 11 or 11:15. I should really fall asleep. Like, if I don't fall asleep soon, I'm going to start to feel the ill effects to some extent tomorrow. Not catastrophic, but like, you know, you feel a little bit groggy, a little cranky, maybe a little grumpy. Then you put on like one more thing. It finishes, you're not asleep yet, you start to get mad. You start to do the numbers. If I fall asleep in this minute, then I'm only gonna get 6 hours of sleep tonight. But I'm not gonna fall asleep in this minute. I probably won't fall asleep for like another 45 minutes. That's 5 hours and 15 minutes. And before you know it, you pass that 5-hour limit and you're like, you know, you just keep getting madder and madder. I'll tell you, by the way, some people out there might be bragging. I'm out here trying to be a positive influence. I've reshaped my attitude towards this stuff in the past year. If you're bragging like, hey, I'm out here, I'm only getting, 4 hours of sleep a night. Wow, 6 hours of sleep a night? Oh, you know what I call that? A weekend, kiddo. Suck it up. You can be that guy if you want to, but I'm going to tell you, nobody thinks that's cool, for one. They're just politely going, that sucks. And behind your back, people are going, I'm worried about you. The one exception I'll say is Mouth, who chooses to get 4 or 5 hours of sleep fairly regularly. He doesn't brag about it. He just goes, yeah, it doesn't really bother me. That's fine. But, I never go, I slept in last night. And Mouth goes, I slept in once too. It was horrible. Woke up at 6:15. You should take care of yourself better. If you're mad about getting not a lot of sleep, you should rearrange your life to sleep more. I don't know what, if you've got the opportunity at least. People are talking about it, Having bad sleep is a coincidence factor for dementia and mental, like physical mental diseases, but also mental illness later in life. Like, you should take care of yourself. I'm not even saying, 8 hours of sleep a night, although I think that's not unrealistic for most people's schedules. But, at least don't be bragging about getting like 4 hours of sleep a night. I think for most people, I don't want to spread misinformation, but I read like a literature review of sleep studies. And it seemed like the consensus is that different people do have different sleep tolerance, but it's on like a normal distribution. So like 90 or 95% of the human population is, happiest within that like 7 to 8 hour mark nightly. And then like 10% of people are, I could deal with like 6. And then like 1% of people are like, I'm happiest with 4, or even like 1 in 1,000. It might not even be 1%. But, so yeah, here's the thing. You might have just gotten used to the fact that you feel like garbage on 4 hours of sleep. Now, I'm not here to tell you to not, embrace that, I guess, if it's advantageous for you. But you just get a little bit more sleep, it's good for you. And if you're getting 4 hours of sleep a night, I hope for your sake you're doing something valuable with that remaining time, Don't be one of those people who's like, hey, I don't want to get a lot of sleep. I'd rather live my life. And you're like, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm watching all of Veronica Mars. Veronica Mars is it's a nice show. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to insult Christian Bell. I'm just saying. You could probably fit in Veronica Mars and also getting enough sleep on a nightly basis, I don't want to be the YouTuber that enables your bad habits. I don't want to be and sometimes, I'm not a perfect person, I want to make that clear. Get angry at my friends sometimes. It's very embarrassing over minor stuff. Annoyed is probably a better word, but let's use anger because it makes me feel worse about it. And I don't want to be one of those enablers who's like, you fill your body with garbage and get no sleep? Yeah, hell yeah, brother, me too. You only live once, right? I want to be one of those guys who's like, are you okay? We got to take better care of ourselves. We got to be strong. We're shouldering the next generation on planet Earth. The world is in our hands. We got to be a better class of individuals to steward this planet in the next phase of, human existence. We gotta be nicer to one another, and we gotta be nicer to ourselves. You gotta eat better. You gotta sleep more. You gotta wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. I was at the movie theater yesterday. I was walking into the bathroom, saw a dude exit a stall, turned on the sink for about 0.5 seconds, did not run his hands under the water, and then went to the hand dryer, turned it on, and then just walked away. It was the weirdest bathroom I've seen some, and if you doubt this, go to a PAX sometime. You're gonna see some wild bathroom habits that you would rather forget. I swear to God, is the strangest way I've ever seen anyone utilize the facilities in a public bathroom. Turn the sink on, didn't use the sink. Turn the hand dryer on, didn't use the hand dryer. It's almost like something had gone wrong in the causality portion of how he figured out how to, go to the bathroom. He was like, well, it was like an alien that had watched human beings. It's like, I don't know. So they go to the bathroom, and then they just turn this weird little machine on, then they turn it off, and then they turn this little machine on, and they turn it off. I don't know what's up. I would have rather he just walked out, because it was almost like he thought he was fooling people. It's like, well, Mom can't get mad at me if I just turn the sink on so it sounds like I'm washing my hands. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to put my own gender on blast. I hear that women's bathrooms can also get very disgusting. Kate's told me stories, sometimes you're at an upscale restaurant. She goes into the bathroom, nicely dressed young lady puking up cocktails in one of the toilets. As one time she was using the bathroom, she told me, people came in and they were having a conversation, and then without looking, they just basically busted open the door to the stall that she was using. Guess the lock was a little flimsy, and they just kind of like, without paying attention, just basically broke it off the door. Never had that happen. That doesn't mean bad things don't happen in the guy's washroom. I'm just saying. You just gotta, I mean, it's, why not wash your hands is the thing. It's like, it takes 2 seconds and, I mean, you believe in germs. You obviously don't disbelieve in germs. If you're yelling about anti-vaxxers, you gotta be out there washing your hands as well. I mean, it's not quite a one-to-one relationship, I suppose, but I feel like it's fairly close. This is, I mean, I know I just bought it, but this is Jar of Flies, right? I hope so. And don't be offended if I told you to wash your hands, because as soon as you get offended, you got no leg to stand on. Nobody's ever like, I'm offended you would say stuff like that about people who don't wash their hands in the bathroom, of which, by the way, I am definitely not one. You know, that's, I can see through the facade, the charade. Anyway, before I lost people there, I was talking about a noble cause. I genuinely, like, I believe that, you know? We could do a better job building each other up. I'm not naive enough to think if I just go like, hey, be nice to each other. Like, people will be nice to each other. But I don't think you have to have an incredible mass effect in order for it to be useful, you know? I think here's the knock-on effect. You treat yourself better. You eat better. Get a little exercise. Sleep more. Better work-life balance. Your mental health improves. Your mental health improves. You're a nicer person. You're more fun to be around. You have more positive experiences. People want to be around you more because you're nicer to them. That niceness, it's in politeness, it spreads, you know? We're going to make America skinny again. One slap at a time. Vince from Slap Chop. You guys see that video of Arnold Schwarzenegger getting drop kicked in the back? It's not really related to what I was just talking about. I love that video. Not because a man got assaulted, but because a 71-year-old man got drop kicked in the back by a fully grown adult male. And he got pushed forward. I know that Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "Oh, I felt like I got jostled," but like, I mean, he took a couple of steps. He reeled a little bit, but he still got drop kicked in between his shoulder blades by an adult man and didn't even fall over. Later, he had the audacity to tweet like, I mean, in a good way. Like, I thought I got jostled, which happens all the time at events like this. I'm just glad that Joker got kicked out and incarcerated or whatever. I was like, dude, what's it like to be a 71-year-old tank? I just love the idea that this, I don't know what's going through his head. And people tried the same thing, or one dude, I shouldn't say people, but some dude tried the same thing to Bret Hart at the WWE Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony, right? Like they got up on stage and tackled Bret Hart while surrounded by men who are like 300-pound statues of muscle. What do you think is gonna happen? Like, how deluded, sorry, I burped at the same time. How deluded do you have to be to think that's gonna go well for you? You know what'd be like really smart for me to do is just go up and drop kick a 6-time Mr. Olympia in his back. Well, he's surrounded by bodyguards on top of it. I just, you know, it's a weird situation. That's why, and you know, I've been a lot better about it, mostly because, you know, I've been working out, so I know I can take a drop kick to the back now. I've been deadlifting, sweetheart, but you know, that's why, you know, whenever I hear someone say Northernlion in public, part of me's like, sick. Part of me's like, get down. I don't know if I cultivate that sort of audience, but, you know, who would think that Arnold Schwarzenegger would cultivate that kind of audience, you know? You just never know if somebody's gonna, like, lose it. It's the dangerous thing about, like, having any form of celebrity, right? Like, not that I'm even at the level that, like, I'm flattering myself by assuming I would be the target of a famous killing or something like that. But simultaneously, you know, it does happen. People will just be like, you know, you're on a television show where you play like a forensic investigator, and for whatever reason, somebody in like Boise, Idaho watches that show and is like, God told me to kill you. And you're like, really? Because this is like my first role where I'm getting paid above scale. They're like, yeah, Jesus came down and told me to murder you. Sorry. It does. I mean, it happens to people that don't have, you know, a degree of fame as well. But it's just something you don't have to be on the lookout for. It's not like it weighs on my mind on a regular basis. But, you know, it's the kind of thing you, in the back of your mind, sometimes you're like, you get, I think, pretty good at being a judge of character. And I'm not saying this to be rude. I mean this sincerely. I have never met a person, like a fan at an event, and been like, this guy's gonna kill me. Literally has never happened. I've met hundreds of people, so, you know, we're talking about, if I would ever feel for my safety, it would be like a 1 in, you know, a couple thousand minimum, or maximum, I don't know, you know what I mean. Most of you get to be a pretty good judge of character pretty quick. Your people are like, you're like, hey, Northernlion, and you're like, hey, what's up? And they're like, I like your content. That's right then, you know you're good. If they say, you know, what's your skin smell like? You'd be like, I gotta go. I got an appointment on the other side of the show floor. That's my anti-murder strategy right now. Don't put it to the test. Dude, we've been a little slow on this run. That's okay. I apologize, by the way. You're probably hearing this sound a lot. It's the sound. I'm 100 years old. I don't have a swell water bottle. You know, the cool, like, pear-shaped ones that are long and, you know, aluminum. I have an old, clunky Nalgene that you could shoot with, like, a Tomahawk missile and it wouldn't explode. So that's the lid rattling against the side of the water bottle. I really wanted just one more, but that's okay. By the way, how are we doing on this run? The run is not bad, but it's also not great. We basically, one more guppy item, we're in the clear. But the odds of us getting a guppy item is relatively low. Because we're more likely to get deals with the angel than deals with the devil right now. But Jar of Flies is really good. You know, I mean, you could see for yourself, we're very, very likely to win. This doesn't have the hallmarks of a traditional loss. And I don't know how I got here, but just to use the facility, just wash your, I don't understand why you don't wash your hands. It's a very young attitude. I'm not saying it's all young people that don't wash their hands. Let me rephrase. I think it's a very juvenile attitude. You know, why would I take 5 seconds to make my life better? I can't see the germs on my hands before or after. Why waste my time? I could be spending that time doing something much more valuable, like posting on Twitter. At least in public, because I see you, you know, touching the doorknob, touching your wedding tackle, touching the knob on the sink, not actually rinsing your hands off, putting your hands in the popcorn, putting your hands inside of your mouth. You're touching the doorknob again, and now you're falling asleep, and she's calling a cab. And okay, you get the idea, but. I just don't get. I'm trying to. Here's the thing. If you need a motivator to help you in your life, here's a motivator. If I see you at PAX and you're in the bathroom and you don't wash your hands, I'm gonna talk to all my other cool YouTuber friends, and maybe you don't care, but I'm just gonna tell it like it is. Me and all the big YouTubers, me and C-Nanners, we hang out all the time. We're best friends in my head, and I'm gonna be like, C-Nanners, Sean. Probably his name, right? I'm gonna be like, I saw this dude in the bathroom, and he didn't even wash his hands after he took a dump. And he's gonna be like, Sean Combs is gonna be like, how do you know he took a dump? And I'm gonna be like, I went in the stall after him, and he didn't flush either. And it looks like he needs to start taking a probiotic, just to be honest with you. And then we're just going to laugh about it, you know? We're going to say, well, I was going to invite him on my podcast, but now we don't have non-hand washers on the show. And you're going to miss your chance to join our triumvirate. You could have been our Crassus. I've never met sea nanners in my life, just for the record. I believe, though, his name is not Sean. I think his name is Adam. I think with 100% certainty his name is Adam. Anyway, we don't need to go down this road. Had a good stream this afternoon. Played some Pokemon Let's Go. Still, you know, hit me with the real talk. Do the non-Gen 1 Pokemon games get harder? Because I am in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, whatever edition you're playing. It's a little bit like a Pixar movie. And I mean that in a good way, but also in a very specific way. It is fun for everybody. But definitely, you could beat that game if you're 4 years old. You know what I mean? It's like the polar opposite of Sekiro. Also a fun game, don't get me wrong. But, you know, unless you're... I wouldn't let someone, you know, my child play Sekiro until they were at least like, I don't know, 10 or 11 minimum. But even then, I would not expect a 10-year-old to have any chance to beat Sekiro. I'm not saying there are not 10-year-olds who have beaten Sekiro out there on planet Earth. I'm just saying, me at 10, no chance. I didn't beat Banjo-Kazooie until I was like 17. So I would love for, like, Sword and Shield to be just, they don't have to be hard enough, because, like, I hate to, you know, I make fun of this guy, and I am this guy, but I make fun of this guy nonetheless, because it's the, you know, our generation is a little strange like this, but I'm definitely a part of it, where, you know, you're like a 30-year-old dude, and you're like, this game for kids is too easy. But I kind of do hope, like, is there, like, a difficulty setting in the Pokemon games? It being a little trickier would be a little bit slightly more engaging. Not that I'm not having a great time. I'm having a wonderful time rediscovering all the cute Pokemon from my youth. Hold on, my son also wishes to be in the room. My real life Pokemon. Hello, Ruka. My boy. Hello. My son. Jump up on my lap. He's not getting in the box. I can tell from his wild-eyed stare. He's not getting in the box. Oh, he loves the lap. Now, here's the thing, Ruka. You can be on my lap. You can't jump on the desk. And you can't bite my hands, okay? As long as you know, it's weird that you're licking my arm. But, you know, I can live with it. It's a little strange. I haven't showered yet today. I will shower later, so... You know, as weird as it is, it's not even going to sleep in my own filth or anything like that. Okay, I would like the spirit heart. Please also do not push the microphone further away. I mean, what are you doing pushing the microphone further away? Just, can you, I really thought, like, you know, the cat would just assume because I'm talking that I'm talking to him. And he would be like, this is incredible, I'm getting so much attention. And what he doesn't realize is that actually, I'm talking to you. And what you guys don't realize is I'm talking to myself. And it's a whole, like, you know, a love triangle of conversational value here. And I don't work for nobody but me. Well, we're not gonna lose. That's for darn sure. We also... What did we get out of our last deal? I don't even remember, dude. It's like my short-term memory is like non-existent due to a relatively poor night of sleep. Alright, now I'll tell you, he's laying on my hands, but that's not a problem. Probably will contribute to early onset carpal tunnel syndrome, but for the affection of this young son, absolutely worth it. I'd do it 10 times out of 10. But I'm begging you, don't bite my hand. And don't rest your head on the keyboard. Those are the two big ones, okay? He's done it. No deal. Well, we will not fight Mega Satan. That's okay. Ruka. Look, sometimes I get frustrated by this boy. But he's a cutie. I can't deny it. He's very energetic. He's a very dog-like cat. Tomo, you know, I've had like 4 other cats in my life, apart from Ruka and Tomo. I understand cat psychology to a pretty good degree. Most of them, they sleep a lot. They want a little bit to a decent amount of attention, and then they want to be left alone. You know, and they want to do a little, like, hunting-style play whenever possible. Tomo is like that. There's, like, a half-hour window every day where Tomo is like, hey, give me attention, pet me. And he, like, demands it. He'll, like, jump up wherever you're sitting and just meow in your face and be like, what are you doing? Pet me. Ruka is the only cat I've ever had in my entire life that he wants affection and attention 24/7. Occasionally, if he's been, like, getting petted for, like, 90 minutes straight, he'll get up and, like, move, and he's like, okay. Like, this is a little crazy. I'd just like to sleep now. But the rest of the day, he begs for attention nonstop. And it's, like, kind of a bad habit. But it's also, you know, is very sweet. Don't walk on the spikes. There are some days, I'll level with you. Some days, I just wish, like, when we were out of the house, you and Tomo played together. And when we're home, and we go to sleep, you go to sleep too. But instead, we, you know, if we're out of the house, like, all day, when we come back, they wake up and they're like, oh, that was a good 20-hour sleep. Time to be awake for 12 hours. And we're like, please, I just want to go to bed. But it's okay. It's okay, Ruka. He's a little heavy, though. He's not, I'm just messing with you. He's not that heavy. That's it. I didn't mean to insult you, buddy. It's not like he's going anywhere, but... Ruka, don't you know it's beach season? You should be midway through your cut already. Tell you, a lot of people when they work out, they're invested in the idea that, you know, you bulk. Here's a little basic terminology, okay? Bulking is when you deliberately eat more calories than you burn, with the expectation that you will gain mass. When you gain mass, you're gonna gain muscle. You just accept. The faster you gain muscle, the faster, or the more fat you're also gonna put on over the course of that. And then a cut is the inverse, you know, where you eat less calories than you burn on a daily basis, or than you eat on a daily basis, I should say. Sorry, excuse me. I've got it all backwards. This cat's freaking me out. Get off of that desk! Alright, you can stay up, but only because you've already gone flat. Is when you eat less calories than you burn. As a result, you lose weight, and you accept that the faster you lose weight, the more muscle you'll lose, but you're predominantly trying to lose fat. A lot of people bulk in the wintertime, cut in the summertime. The reason for that, you know, summertime, weather's nice. You're going to be wearing less clothing. Maybe you're going to the beach, taking your shirt off. Let me give you a little piece of advice. Short circuit and disrupt the whole industry. Have a torso completely covered in curly brown body hair from age 16 onwards. Beach season does not exist. I'm not complaining. I've accepted my hirsute lot in life. I was gonna say loss of life, which is, it's a harbinger of bad omens to come. But you know, I could get waxed or I could shave, but I always give me a +1 in the comments below if you're a young man who also happens to be like, you know, hairy enough. Like, hairier than Steve Carell in The 40-Year-Old Virgin, where they make fun of him for being 40 and having shoulder hair, and then you watch that when you're 16 and you go, you guys don't all have shoulder hair? It's, Wow, he's really hairy. Look at that hairy guy on the screen. Anyway, give me a +1. Because if you're a hairy dude and a bald dude and they go part and parcel, you always hear the easy answer from the people who don't have to deal with it, you know? The people who are not bald always go, bro, bald isn't that bad. If I was gonna go bald, I would just get jacked. Here's a little secret for you. It's a lot easier to go bald than it is to get jacked. So if you see yourself going bald and you really want to try that Vin Diesel strategy out, start working out now. Secondly, if you got a lot of body hair, people go, I don't understand, why don't you just deal with it? I've read your comments in Twitch chat, you know? Half of y'all are using paper plates because you can't be effed to do the dishes. You're gonna tell me that once every, 2 or 3 weeks, you're gonna shave your entire body just so you don't have body hair. I'll believe it when I freaking see it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It's a lot easier to spend somebody else's time than it is to spend your own. So I'm just accepted. I'm a hairy dude. And it's not, I gotta tell you, at this point, I've probably been hairy longer than I've been unhairy, which is not true for most men until they are in like their 60s, probably at least. But and I know you're like, well, I don't know, Nell, I'm pretty hairy. I'll have you know I have 6 chest hairs. Yeah, try having your wife be like, did you shave? And you go, no. And then she goes, why is there so much hair in the shower? And then you go, well, it just fell off my body. You're just shedding parts at all times without putting any care into it whatsoever. That's not an active shed. That's just how she goes. Hold on. I wanted to see if we got good pills. Don't think so. There's nothing is really bad about being like a hairy dude, except sometimes you gotta be like, I'm hairy. That's basically what it comes down to. Is, you get in the hot tub with people, they might be like, hey, I didn't know you were so hairy. And you're like, yeah. You gotta, they're like, hey, you're not allowed to wear a sweater in the hot tub. You're like, yeah, I'm hairy. That's a good one, though. You get the idea. That's pretty much, it's a very stoic line of reasoning. But the only thing bad about being hairy, except for probably being like a little bit warmer at all times, is you gotta prepare yourself for the jokes, which means like in your head you're probably doing worse stuff to yourself than anybody else ever would. You also get to go, Peter, don't tell Harry, which is a very effective joke as well. This is a good episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps it a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya.